I think we're live, man. AEW tonight. I'm back after a night off. Was not here live last night for NXT. And that might have been a good thing, because I would have tore that show to fucking shreds after last night. We are going to talk a little bit about NXT tonight, man, because I know there's a lot of people out there that want my opinion on what happened last night. We're going to talk about AEW, obviously. It's the reason why you're here. MJF and Jon Moxley heading towards All Out. I loved what they did at the end of the show. Thunder Rosa made her AEW debut, but so did Serena Deeb. And we got All Out happening on Saturday night. It's going to be a good one, man. It's a loaded show, a stacked card. I'm by myself tonight. Jesse ain't here. He's got some family obligations to take care of. And we are going to talk all Elite Wrestling on the #1 podcast in the IWC. This is Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. No intro this evening. I think that is more than what you guys need. It was a very, very busy 24 hours, folks. Very busy 24 hours. I went on a little staycation yesterday. I was not here for NXT. I did not cover the Fatal 4-Way 60-minute Iron Man match, but I did sit down with a cold beverage, and I did engulf myself in what was a very disappointing evening for NXT. Now, I am going to talk about that at some point this evening. Actually, I might start the show off with it depending on how you guys feel, because I know there's a lot of people out there that want my opinion on it. In fact, I actually rant on it tomorrow in an Off the Script extra that's going live tomorrow afternoon. But man, oh man, I have not been, and we were going to talk about this tonight anyway, whether Jesse was here or not. I wanted his opinion on it. I know exactly how he felt about it. But we were going to talk about it, and it was in the itinerary of the show anyway. So I was always going to talk about what had happened. And then there was other news that came out in regards to AEW and NXT today. And it was a very interesting story about NXT possibly moving to Tuesday nights and how Vince McMahon made the decision. WWE made the decision to keep NXT on Wednesday nights because they are absolutely ridiculous. And it's all for the AEW effect. USA Network is considering moving NXT to a different night, is what the story was today. And as you guys know, if you're watching NXT and AEW, they've been preempted because of the NBA, and NXT's been preempted because of the NHL playoffs on USA Network. So they've been doing this thing now called Super Tuesday because they had no choice. So obviously they put a gimmick behind it, and they made this fatal 4-way 60-minute Iron Man match. As you guys know, Karrion Kross had to relinquish the title because of his separated shoulder. He's going to be out a very long time. And we got Adam Cole, Finn Balor, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa battling over the NXT Championship. Super Tuesday. That's going to continue on into next week. It's going to be Super Tuesday night 2. We got a steel cage match with Rhea Ripley. And we have a World Championship match, an NXT Championship match between Finn Balor and Adam Cole. Baby. Now, the NXT ratings have reflected an upward swing on Tuesday nights. That's not a surprise. They're going uncontested against, or I guess not against, AEW. They're going uncontested on Tuesday nights. They got no competition as far as AEW is concerned. Now, the Wednesday night war has been this thing in the community that people hang on to it. They live and die by it. They lose sleep over it. I don't know why. I don't know why anybody gives a shit about what the ratings are. Just enjoy the shows for what they are. They're both decent shows. NXT has floundered from last year. AEW mostly is a good show week in and week out. They got some duds thrown in there. They're never perfect. Tonight's show wasn't perfect. Tonight's show wasn't really the best go-home show I've seen from AEW. Looks like they got a little lazy tonight. But the Wednesday night wars are ridiculous. And I never really understood it. You got your NXT faithful, you got your AEW faithful. The world goes on. But since NXT and AEW have started this fictional war on Wednesday nights, AEW Dynamite has won the majority of Wednesday night. Now, the only reason why NXT had won any nights at all, and I'm being brutally honest with all you NXT fucking geeks out there, me included, but I'm not a geek because I'm giving you the reality of the situation. You might not want to hear it, and you might think I'm being negative, which makes you a fucking geek. Because you don't want to listen to the truth as if the truth is bad for you. Little dose of truth is good for your fucking appetite, bro, okay? The reason why NXT has won when they won was because of desperation. Great American Bash, WWE just desperately counter-programming, right? Or if they're on a Tuesday night, they'll win. And then they do the main roster thing. They'll bring in some main roster talent, showcase them on NXT. They'll put NXT in the Royal Rumble, build around that. They'll put NXT in the Survivor Series. They'll build around that. NXT really hasn't won legitimately on their own in the Wednesday night war. Everything that they've done as far as beating AEW in the Wednesday night ratings was part of the AEW effect. Plain and simple. Now, with them moving to Tuesday, potentially in the report here, it was just reported last month that there was a lot of unhappiness in WWE because NXT is losing the ratings battle to AEW Dynamite on a weekly basis. Now, WrestleVotes sent out a tweet today that WWE and USA Network officials have discussed potentially moving NXT to a different night, but no decision has been made, nor would it be imminent. It was also noted that the viewership numbers for not just last night's NXT, but also next Tuesday's episode could play into this decision. Now, the ratings were in, and NXT went up in the ratings. I think they did somewhere in the vicinity of 850,000 overall viewership for Super Tuesday. So that is going to play into the decision when it comes to potentially moving them to a different night. They say on Twitter, does WrestleVotes, and I quote, "Over the past month or so, discussions have transpired regarding NXT moving off of Wednesday nights. No decision is imminent. However, talks are ongoing. The numbers over the next 2 weeks might have some impact on this decision." Now, there was a follow-up report to this, and it was a surprising one, but also at the same time, not a surprising one. Ringside News reported that USA Network has wanted NXT on Tuesday nights since the very beginning. They never wanted to put NXT on Wednesday nights. It was reported that a couple of months ago, USA Network suggested NXT be moved permanently to Tuesdays. The company, WWE, obviously did not take them up on that offer, but the feeling might have changed moving forward. It is said that some in the company said they aren't as committed to the competition aspect of NXT on Wednesday night, considering it cost them viewers. WWE is receptive to the idea of moving NXT's weekly show to Tuesday nights. At this time, like I mentioned, and like WrestleVotes tweeted out today, there is nothing confirmed or imminent, but the company is considering it. And these two shows on Tuesday, Super Tuesday, are being used as a test run. So that is that. Folks, I'm going to be completely and blatantly honest with you in this situation. I hate the fact, and granted, I know NXT was on Wednesday nights from the beginning. NXT was always a home on a Wednesday night. That was it. WWE Network 1 hour. I knew that they had that before AEW was even a fucking thought bubble in anybody's head. It's not about being on Wednesday. It's not about AEW moving them off their home on Wednesday night. It's about doing what is best for business. I don't really understand the competitive aspect of AEW and NXT. I really don't. I don't. You can't compare the two. You cannot compare AEW and NXT. NXT is a breeding ground for the WWE's future. Many people watch NXT and love what the company represents because at its core, it's everything we want the main roster to be. And I'm sad to say that it's not. The main roster is not that. They don't incorporate any NXT feel on their shows, even though I've been saying for years that they have to and they should. And now it's becoming a little bit more apparent that WWE is ruining NXT and bringing more of the main roster influence to NXT. For everybody listening to me live here on YouTube, you might love NXT, you might not love NXT, you might be indifferent to NXT, you might watch it just out of habit, you might feel like me, you're falling out of love with it because they're moving away from what made them so special. But why would anybody invest long-term into NXT? This is the most important question that I don't think a lot of people are asking out there, whether you podcast or whether you're talking about this with anybody, really. Why would you invest long-term into NXT knowing that WWE is inevitably going to pull from NXT, supply the main roster with the future, and then leaving you with nothing to care about in NXT. And then you got to start all over again. You got to get acquainted and you got to get reinvested in new talent. And more importantly, not only that, not only the, oh my God, I got to bid this person farewell, or I got to bid this female farewell. They go to the main roster, they get demoted. That's not even the most important aspect. How many of you guys watch NXT, fall in love with somebody, knowing that when they get called up to the main roster, they're about to be buried, and all of the years you spent investing into that character, into that pro wrestler that you fell in love with, knowing that they're never going to be the same? So it's almost as if when WWE pulls them from NXT, you've invested all this time in them, and then WWE makes you feel like you wasted your time caring about this person because they don't do what they have to do for said individual. That's why NXT will never be successful. NXT is never going to be successful because WWE doesn't want it to be successful. NXT is never going to be successful because WWE creatively hijacks everything that Triple H has done in NXT. That's the entire situation. That's the fact of the matter. With everything regarding NXT and why they will never grow. They will never grow. Meanwhile, AEW is its own entity. AEW is its own entity. When you watch something, you know that they're going to be there. You know that someone's going to evolve. You know someone's going to get pushed up the card. You know they are making stars in this moment. You know that they're incorporating everything that NXT used to do. Long-term booking, unpredictability, excitement. They're a little bit more risque. You don't have to worry when you watch AEW television that, oh my God, they're going to get called up and move to a different brand. They're going to be there week in and week out, whether anybody likes it or not. That talent, that guy you watch on AEW, that female you love on AEW, they're going to be there no matter what. They're not going to get drafted to a Raw or a SmackDown. They're not going to be creatively hijacked and creatively ruined by Tony Khan because of a certain agenda. Oh, he's too fat. Oh, she's too thin. Oh, she's not blonde. Oh, this and that. I mean, just look at Keith Lee, for example. How many of you have already soured on Keith Lee? How many? It took WWE 1 week to butcher this guy's debut. Fucking Keith Lee. They butchered Keith Lee already in 1 fucking week. And then you got the geeks. Oh, he was in the main event against Randy Orton. Oh, he beat Randy Orton on pay-per-view. Blow me. Blow me. WWE put this guy in a fucking dress. They put a fucking t-shirt on him. They changed his goddamn theme music. And they booked him in a match against Randy Orton in his debut on Raw, and he lost. He didn't get pinned, but he lost. WWE has to change everybody that you love. Why was Keith Lee put in a shirt? Because he's fat. Why did Keith Lee have his music changed? Because Vince doesn't like his music. Has nothing to do with CFOs. Give me a fucking break. He came out to his theme music on Saturday at TakeOver. You mean to tell me 2 days later he can't come out to his theme music? That's why nobody's going to love NXT. That's why nobody's going to invest in NXT. Look at Keith Lee. Look at Keith Lee. How could you take Keith Lee from NXT and fuck him up? Why change? I want NXT on Tuesday nights. I do. Not only do I think it's a better move for them, it's a better move for me. It's a better move for everybody in the community. Monday, Raw. Tuesday, NXT. Wednesday, AEW. Friday, Bruce. SmackDown. Simple. Simple. I have a dedicated night to do whatever I have to do regarding the channel. And then AEW is going to get a second show, reportedly by the end of the year. That is going to be on TNT. They are going to get another 2 hours of television. That could fill in on Thursday. WWE will have Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. And AEW will have Wednesday and Thursday. I don't know where that other show is going to be, on what day, but that is an entire week worth of wrestling right there for everybody that loves pro wrestling. It's going to make everybody's life easier. But for WWE, moving to Tuesday night is best for business. NXT is actually going to be in the range of 900,000 or so weekly. Now, for them to get to 1 million, I don't know if that's possible because of the reasons that I just mentioned. But they're not going to be doing 900,000 against AEW on Wednesday night, head-to-head in the Wednesday Night Wars. You know what happens. AEW does 875,000, 900,000, and NXT does 615,000. They get their ass handed to them. Or it's 900,000 for AEW, and then NXT barely grazes 700,000 overall viewers. So for them to move to Tuesday night on their own, they'll actually have a more real rating. The real rating will show when it's on Tuesday night by itself. But I don't think they're going to move to Tuesday night. AEW and NXT are going to go head-to-head, and Vince is going to put NXT on Wednesday nights. Keep NXT on Wednesday nights because he doesn't care about NXT. Nobody in WWE cares about NXT. Only Triple H and his camp care about NXT. Everybody else could not give a single shit about NXT. And that's the cold, hard truth when it comes to that situation. Why would Vince move NXT to Tuesday night when he can take away from AEW's audience? That's all he cares about. That's all he wants to do. If Vince left AEW on its own on Wednesday night, AEW will break 1 million viewers because you have nothing else that those people need to worry about. NXT's on Tuesday. I'll DVR NXT on Tuesday, whatever. I'll watch AEW Wednesday, I'll watch whatever the next day, and I'll spread it out across the week. Or they watch NXT live on Tuesday nights. Tuesday night NXT, Wednesday AEW. Vince is not going to move NXT to Tuesday nights because AEW on its own on a Wednesday night is going to generate over 1 million plus. Vince is not going to give AEW that opportunity. With Monday Night Raw and SmackDown's ratings in the fucking toilet, getting lower and lower every single week, this year alone, Monday Night Raw topped itself 15 times over for the worst rating in that show's history. Is Vince going to allow AEW to creep closer and closer and closer to Monday Night Raw's rating on Monday night? That's why NXT exists on Wednesday, going head-to-head at 2 hours on the USA Network against AEW. Vince doesn't give a fuck about the growth of NXT. Vince only cares about dipping into AEW's fan base. He wants to damage AEW's fan base with NXT as his shield. That's it. That is it. He's going to war with NXT and doesn't give a fuck if NXT sinks or swims. Vince will not move NXT to Tuesday night, though USA wants NXT on Tuesday night because they know a move to Tuesday night will generate more viewers. Meanwhile, WWE, all they care about is the AEW effect. You heard it here. I don't want anybody telling me, JD is AEW shield, he's on Tony Khan's payroll. Everything I said here is the legit facts of the situation. NXT moving to Tuesday night is better for everyone, including, most importantly, NXT. Simple. I don't want to hear anything from anybody else. That's it. That was the big story. Now, I might as well talk about this, being that I'm on this rant, and I'm in the zone now. The NXT main event last night was fucking horrendous. Horrendous. And it pains my soul to say that. It pains my fucking heart to say that. Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and Finn Balor are four of the very best men that company has employed. WWE should be counting their fucking stars that they have those men employed. If I was to build a promotion around anybody, Adam Cole would be my number one. On that current WWE roster, Adam Cole would be number one. He's one of the best on the planet. You have four of the very best pro wrestlers in the world in that match. How the fuck did that match come off the way that it did? Disappointing. Now, I'm not going to sit here and go over move for move, hold for hold. I don't give a fuck. It's about what happened at the end. WWE told you that they are going to crown a new NXT champion. And they had that match go to sudden death. They had that match go to a fucking draw between Adam Cole and Finn Balor. We didn't get an NXT champion crowned. We're going to get an NXT champion crowned on night 2 of Super Tuesday. Why? Because of ratings. Because of ratings. It's all WWE cares about when it comes to NXT. Let's get the ratings up on Wednesday night. Let's fuck the fans. And let's bypass long-term vision. That's exactly what they did. How could you sit there and invest your time into a match for 60 minutes and then have the fucking fans sit there all through commercial breaks, Vic Joseph's terrible commentary, 60 minutes, and then not crown a new NXT champion? Shame on you. Fucking shame on you. The NXT that I remember is dead. Dead. This wouldn't happen under the old NXT. The old NXT would have crowned a new champion. They had 2 different ideas for that match. One, Pat McAfee was going to come in and cost Cole the match. Pat McAfee? Why? His deal with Cole is already dead and buried. But you want him to come back and do it again? That didn't make any sense when I heard it. The other planned ending, and this is according to WrestleVotes, is they wanted Balor and Cole and Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa to go all even at the end of the night, say goodbye, and they were going to pick up where they left off the following week with all 4 guys. It was going to continue on into next week. That would have pissed people off even more. So they opted to go with the slightly less shitty, but still absolutely fucking terrible ending. I'll give you one fucking answer, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, dog. There was only one ending you should have given us. Actually, I got 4 different fucking endings you could have given us. Adam Cole winning, Finn Balor winning, Johnny Gargano winning, or Tommaso Ciampa winning. Here's the fucking ending that you should have got. Somebody being crowned NXT champion. Imagine investing 60 minutes, sitting at home, and then you don't get an NXT champion after they told you they were going to crown an NXT champion. All because Super Tuesday. Oh my God, they're being preempted again. Let's do it again next week and make it feel epic. Oh, but JD, it's episodic fucking television. Fuck your episodic television. How often do you see 60-minute Iron Man matches in the realm of professional wrestling? This is not some bullshit rinky-dink 15 fucking minutes in your main event. 60 minutes is a lot to ask for to watch anybody wrestle. And then you're not going to give me a true outcome? And you're going to save it for next week? How many people are actually going to be legitimately pissed off and not watch next week because of the stunt that you pulled? And don't get me started on Vic Joseph. I'm a Mauro Ranallo Marq through and through. And I don't know if it's me kind of still upset that he's not going to be there, knowing he's not going to come back. But Vic Joseph's voice is not the voice that we need for NXT. He's not. He's very good at what he does. But Mauro, if Mauro was on that show last night and I watched that match, the good match that it wasn't bad. The ending was terrible. But the good match that it would have been taken up another couple of levels because of how Mauro is and what he adds to an overall match. Vic Joseph wasn't calling moves. Vic Joseph didn't sound excited. Vic Joseph felt like he didn't even want to fucking be there after a half an hour. Meanwhile, Mauro would have been happier than a pig in shit to call that match last night. Vic Joseph is not the voice we need for NXT. And just by that fact alone, that Mauro was not there, NXT is dead. Dead. Keith Lee got demoted. Adam Cole and the Undisputed Era are inevitably getting demoted. Velveteen Dream will never be the same. So please, who is in NXT now that we legitimately have our hats to hang on? Nobody. Nobody. I think at the end of all of this experimentation, Tuesday night is the best deal for NXT, especially with what the future holds. That's that. So I got that off my chest. I wanted to talk about this with you guys tonight because I was going to talk about it anyway with Jesse, and he's not here tonight because of family obligations. He's doing stuff with the wife and the kids, so I will see him hopefully next week back on the show. But I wanted to get that off my chest because I wasn't here last night, and I couldn't wait to come on here and talk about it with you guys. I actually recorded the Off the Script Extra with that as being one of the top stories as well. So additionally, we'll go over that tomorrow. I got some more stuff that I haven't really talked about here with you guys, so you guys can go and check that out tomorrow. But again, I thank you guys for joining me here on YouTube Live. Hopefully we are the number one in the community, number one podcast in the community. Hoot Media. Hoot Media, we number one tonight. So let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat if we are number one this evening for Off the Script. Number one, man, says Hoot Media. Look at that. Look at that. Awesome. Thank you guys for spending your evening with me here, man. Super chats are open. I see a couple of super chats in there. I got to shout them out already because, I didn't expect it, and I'm looking at it, staring right in the face with a big red logo. Daniel Bravo, $99 bomb here tonight. Here is for the number one podcaster in the wrestling community. Thank you so much, brother. Appreciate that. And it is what it is. Thank you so much, man. I love being here for you guys, and it makes me happy that I can do this for you every single week. You guys made August the biggest and best month in the history of this podcast. And when people have counted me out and said that I'm nothing but yesterday's news and they tried to cancel me, we came back and delivered the best fucking month that this podcast has ever seen. And I am getting the last laugh on everybody, man. So it's all thanks to you guys for that. Follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. Thank you for all live tweeting with me during Dynamite. Make sure you guys do that. Twitter and Instagram. I will be live on Twitter all weekend long with All Out. So if you guys want my in real-time thoughts about AEW on Saturday night, Twitter is the place to be. If you guys missed any of the content on the channel this week, check the description down below. Monday Night Raw was live on Monday night. We talked about that. We had an extra go up yesterday on Tuesday afternoon in regards to Brock Lesnar being a free agent. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Wade Barrett also talking to WWE about a full-time return to the company. And always evolving Retribution news, what WWE is doing and what WWE is not doing. So make sure you guys go and check that out. Off the Script Extra went live yesterday, and there'll be another one tomorrow as well. So look out for that. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Hit the thumbs up. We got 380 likes. What's going on here, man? I want to see 500 likes now. And then we'll talk about the next goal when we get to the middle of the show, man. There's 1,126 viewers right now, live. Let's get it up to 500. There should be no excuses. If you thought Thunder Rosa looked great tonight, hit that thumbs up. That's a very simple thing to do, folks. And today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Been an amazing partner for Off the Script. You guys can actually get one free audiobook of your choice and 30 days free of their service by using our link, audibletrial.com/offthescript, man. What better way to support? You get something for free just for listening to me tonight on Off the Script. That's audibletrial.com off the script. So thank you guys so very much for that. Dynamite opened up with a tag team match, a grudge match. We had Trent and Chuck Taylor versus Santana and Ortiz. Now, AEW aired a brief recap of Proud and Powerful destroying Trent's mom's minivan. And I love it. Awesome. Fits right into the style of Santana and Ortiz. They don't give a shit. I love those guys. So they defaced Trent's mom's minivan. And Santana and Ortiz came out first. And then all of a sudden, we had the best friends come out and attack Santana and Ortiz from behind before the bell even rung. It's the little things that matter most to me, folks. It really does. I love the little things, and I love when in AEW, for example, like they did tonight, really don't overthink it. This is a grudge match. Santana and Ortiz made it personal with Trent's mother. They defaced and destroyed her minivan. It's Trent's mom. You only have one mother, man. Your mother's the most important figure in your life. And here we have Proud and Powerful not giving a shit. So what does AEW go and do? Do they give the best friends a big entrance? Are they there hugging and shaking hands and waving to the fans, right? Are they over there just not giving a shit? Are they there not giving a shit? Like we got on Monday Night Raw. Montez Ford gets poisoned and Bianca Belair is like, hey, you know what? It's all right. It's all right. I'm going to kick Zelina Vega's ass, but it's all right. It's all right my husband got poisoned. You know, things like that are glanced over. On AEW tonight, they weren't. They didn't come out doing any of that shit. They came out and kicked their ass. They didn't come out to their theme music. They didn't do anything. They came out and kicked their ass before the bell rung. It wasn't a no DQ match, but it absolutely turned into a street fight before we actually got into the ring. The bell rung, and then we got a standard tag team match. I love it. Absolutely love it. So the match went on for about 5 minutes before the bell even rung. So they're back in the ring. At this point, there was brawls all over the ringside area. People were going into the barricade. We had Chuck Taylor dive off the stage into some chairs that Santana and Ortiz had set up down below to use as weapons later on in the match. Santana threw a chair at Trent. Ortiz tossed Trent onto a stack of chairs, like I said, that he had set up at ringside. The bell ended up ringing 5 minutes into this brawl once Santana and Trent finally entered the ring. Bell rings. Ortiz grabbed Chuck. When he bounced into the ropes, Santana dropped him over the top rope. He landed very stiff on the floor below, and we go to commercial break. So Trent came back with a tornado DDT. Chuck was still KO'd on the stack of chairs at ringside. Several minutes later, Trent leapt onto Ortiz at ringside. He missed a spear at ringside. He hit the ringside barricade. Chuck finally got a hot tag, and he came in and made the babyface comeback. He flip dove onto Santana and Ortiz at ringside. Trent had Ortiz covered in the ring. He was near the ropes. Santana was late making the save. Now, the referee in this match, Rimsberg, I think his name is, he actually made the 3 count. But Santana was late because he wanted to get Ortiz's foot on the rope from the outside. He physically took Ortiz's foot and put it on the rope, but the referee counted 3 and pretended as if it was only a 2. I'll talk about that in a second. So the referee had to stop his count because that wasn't the ending of the match that was planned. So that was a very awkward situation. I sat there rolling my eyes because it's the same old shit that I see quite often in AEW with these tag team matches. Santana hit Trent from behind with a steel nightstick, it looked like. So Santana and Ortiz finished him after that with the street sweeper, and Santana and Ortiz win this grudge match against the best friends. Now, everything about this match was fine. This was a very good tag team match, minus the botches and the missteps and the miscommunication. I love the fact that it was personal before the bell even rung. So we got actual 7 minutes of match, plus we got the 5 minutes that they brawled at ringside, really making it personal. They didn't come out fucking hokey and lame and not really playing up to the fact that Trent's mom's minivan was destroyed. So I love the fact that they made sense of all of that, really made it seem very personal between these two teams. But with everything that you actually liked about this match, equally, there's shit about this match that you didn't like. This match was one of those matches that you look at, and it's everything you love about AEW, and it's also everything you hate about AEW. I don't understand why they try so hard. They tried hard here, but I don't understand why they try so hard every single week to make these tag team matches just over the top. You know, come and decide on a winner and book from there. Why do you need all of this riffraff? Why do you need this back and forth? Why do you need this craziness, right? Do you really need all of these big spots that just end up being miscommunicated and lame and sloppy? I don't really understand it. It makes the match seem amateur almost when I see this type of shit happen. Santana late. Now, I'm not saying that nobody could fuck up, but it happens all too often. And it's always the same guys. And it's always in a tag team match. That spot really didn't need to be there. They didn't need to do that. That was just a spot in the match that was just completely unnecessary. And then you got the referee clearly making a 3 count. He botched because of the miscommunication, so it makes everybody look bad. And then the proud and powerful guys go on and win the match anyway. So less of making the match over the top and just stick to the basics, please. One winner, one loser. If you want some nefarious bullshit to happen where the heels win and vice versa, just book it simply. You don't need to go over the top and really make this feel, oh my God, look at all this outlandish shit. It ends up being sloppy in the end, and then everybody looks bad. So that's my take there. Other than that, I enjoyed it. And I don't know what's coming for either one of these teams. I know the best friends were in the top 5 in the AEW tag team rankings. I'm assuming with this loss, they drop down to number 5 or they drop out of the top 5 completely. I guess we'll find out in a couple of days when AEW reveals their new standings. But proud and powerful, man. I honestly think that AEW needs to start getting behind them. They are a world-class act. At one point or another, we were talking about these guys being the best tag team on the planet. At one point or another, when the Usos were at the top of their game and LAX was at the top of their game, people were dreaming about a potential match with both of those teams. Because LAX was in discussion to come into WWE before they signed with AEW. You know? Even Santana and Ortiz versus the Briscoes. These guys were heralded as the best tag team, one of the best tag teams on the planet. I feel like they've taken several steps back here, and just being in the inner circle was enough for AEW with Santana and Ortiz. I think they start now to finally break out of that, and we start getting that LAX of old. I think it's a long time coming for these guys, and I don't want to see them just kind of dip into just being very consistent and, you know, complacent in the inner circle, doing the same old shit every single week. I want more for these guys, and I think they deserve it. MJF said backstage that Wardlow, he was with Wardlow. MJF was with Wardlow backstage, and he is going to become the AEW champion. So he was telling Wardlow that he's going to become the AEW champion. MJF's assistant, or one of MJF's assistants, came up to him and interrupted him and said his attorney, Marq, locked himself in the locker room. So Wardlow took an issue with this. He went up to the locker room, kicked the door down. MJF said he knows he's afraid of the big scary monster that is Jon Moxley, but there's nothing scarier of getting in the way of his goals. Bad things happen, said MJF. He told him he has a choice between getting in the ring or getting in the fucking ring. End quote. He asked him to choose wisely. So you got one of two choices. Get in the ring or get in the fucking ring. You don't fuck around with MJF. There's things that you do and things that you don't do. You don't fuck around with MJF. Simple. The Young Bucks and the Jurassic Express. Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus Private Party and SCU. This was Daniels and Kazarian here in this match. The winners of this match would go on to wrestle each other at All Out. And I honestly think going into this, when they announced this match last week, this was pretty self-explanatory here. This was pretty predictable here. We got the Bucks and Jurassic Express predictable winning this match because I don't really see All Out being their biggest show of the year not having the Young Bucks on the show. And I honestly think the prospect of Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks in a standard 2-on-2 tag team match is very exciting to me. This could be a great reset for both Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. And I think that's going to be a very, very fun, very, very good match on Saturday night. Now, I've shit on 8-man tags before in the past. I have. I hate them. I hate that AEW always goes to them. I hate the fact that AEW has all of these 6-man, 8-man, 10-man, 12-man tags. And the reason they do it is because they have so much talent that they want to push that isn't getting an opportunity. And they much rather put them on the show and in these matches than not put them on the show. But how much shit can you really get in? How are you going to stand out when you're in a match that consists of 12 different guys? And sometimes they get sloppy. Sometimes there's no flow to them. Sometimes it's nothing but high spots. It really isn't exciting. I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you're going to do a 10-man or a 12-man tag, it's got to be an elimination style match. Or if a 12-man, listen, a 12-man tag is way too much for me. That's like a War Games type of situation. But if you're going to do a 10-man tag, it's got to be elimination. You can't be doing them like regular matches every single week. It's going to take the importance away from that big 10-man tag away. And like I said, how difficult is it to get your shit in a normal match? You expecting somebody to get their shit in when they got 1 minute, 1.5 minutes of in-ring time? With 11 other guys? 10 other guys of your tag team? Come on. I don't like it. So the reason I said that is because I hate them. But this was an 8-man tag, and for some reason, it's almost as if they intentionally slowed it down. It was slow to start. It was working with a nice flow. They upped the ante a little bit with the high-risk offense. They did some high spots. It went back to being nice and slow, and they worked over their opponents, and then they hit the high spots again and went to the finish. So it was up and down, and then the finish, which I appreciated. This 8-man tag was not like the others that we've seen in the previous weeks. It had a nice flow to it. It was fun. The high spots happened when they should have happened. They didn't rely too much on the high spots. They went to them when they actually needed to. So I thought this was a very fun 8-man tag. Predictable, but a very fun 8-man tag. Now, Kazarian and Jungle Boy began the match, trading 1 counts early on. Matt tagged in, got cut off by Private Party. Kassidy hit a springboard, and Matt rolled to the outside. So we had a fan at ringside taunt Matt Jackson with a hangman sign. And I believe it said, "Hangman, please take my beer," or something along those lines. Now, nobody's going to be taking a beer in the COVID era like they were back in January and February. But Matt seen this sign, and he took the sign away and took the fan's beer and poured it over his head. So obviously, the Young Bucks are still upset about what Hangman did last week. Daniels tagged in. He got cut off by Matt and Nick. Daniels made his own comeback. Kazarian and Jungle Boy tagged back in. Kazarian hit a beautiful leg slice. It was a springboard leg drop. on Nick on the apron. Kaz brought Nick in with a slingshot cutter, looked very good. Daniels hit a moonsault, which looked perfect, on the outside to the floor. Both Bucks were down, and Kaz continued to work on Jungle Boy inside the ring. Private Party then got their shit in. They hit tandem facebusters on Jungle Boy. Daniels tagged in and continued working over Jungle Boy. Again, like I said, slow, high risk, and then the finish. It's a really good flow to this match. So SCU and Private Party worked on Jungle Boy through a commercial break. We're back, and Kassidy and Daniels accidentally ran into each other, allowing Jungle Boy to make the hot tag to guess who? Big man Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus ran wild. Kicks and a moonsault off the apron. Luchasaurus and Matt hit stereo standing moonsaults, followed by stereo top rope splashes from Nick and Jungle Boy. Excellent spot. And that was the spot where you kind of realized these two teams are going into all out against each other. Jungle Boy tagged back in. He got cut off again. Matt accidentally hit a super kick on Jungle Boy. Kassidy hit a senton atomico for a near fall. Everybody hopped in for a big move at this point. Towards the end, Jungle Boy hit a tope suicida to Daniels, Kassidy, and Kaz. Luchasaurus then hit the tail whip on Quen. Matt blind tagged in. The Bucks hit the BTE trigger on Quen and then went for the 1-2-3, and that was it. Really fun match. I'm looking forward to what Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, Matt and Nick Jackson do at All Out. And it should be something in my eyes as a standout match for Jurassic Express. Jurassic Express is one of those teams that we all looked at when this AEW thing got started, and we all looked at them as potentially being the tag team champions really early on because of how over they were. And I honestly think that this could be a showcase match for them on Saturday night. Now, the Bucks are probably going to end up winning this thing because they got cheated out of the tag team titles, and they are just in this zone. They even showed it tonight. They had a slight attitude tonight because of what Hangman did. So they're going to take that attitude, and they're really going to All Out to prove a point. You know, they're out for retribution. I'm not talking about the masked geeks on Monday Night Raw. Talking about they're out for retribution. They want to get back in their winning ways. So I think this is going to be a great match for both teams, but I'm looking forward to Jurassic Express finally just breaking free and breaking out after what I think Jungle Boy's been great. But I honestly feel like the tag team, the duo of Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus should be a lot higher than where they sit right now in AEW. Backstage, Jake Hager went into Orange Cassidy's locker room and sat next to him. So this was very awkward because Jake Hager is a fucking tough dude. And he went into Orange Cassidy's locker room not wanting to pick a fight, not wanting to do anything. He legitimately sat next to Orange Cassidy. He told Orange that Jericho wants him at ringside for his match tonight. And he said it would be a smart move to be there. Kassidy was leaning back in his chair. He didn't really react at all. Of course he didn't. And Hager left telling him that he really needs to be there. And that's it. Tully Blanchard gave FTR a pep talk. He said the prize is in front of them on Saturday night, so they have to go and take it. He said, they are men who can do it, and he'll be right there at ringside watching them win the AEW Tag Team Championships. Cash said their legacy is dead if they do not walk out with the AEW Tag Team titles. He said, whatever we did in our past means nothing. So a clear shot at WWE. Whatever we did in the past is irrelevant. This is what matters. This is the biggest night of our careers. Dax said this match makes a 7-figure difference in their annual income. He said as much as he likes Hangman Page, he likes the idea of being champion even more. He said on Saturday, they have all day to be, or actually on Sunday, they have all day to be sore. They'll be sore on Saturday too, believe me. But Saturday, it's all business. So that's FTR. And I do think we are looking at new AEW Tag Team Champions. So we go from that to Tony Schiavone interviewing Kenny Omega for a middle-of-the-ring interview. Omega came out wearing a Hana Kimura t-shirt, tribute. Classy for AEW to really send all the proceeds to Hana's family. So that was nice of them to do. Kenny was wearing the new tribute t-shirt out to the ring. Shivani was in the ring and he asked Kenny about Paige being thrown out of the Elite. Omega said everyone in life makes mistakes, and Hangman will have to live with this mistake for the rest of his life. He said at the pay-per-view, FTR will be facing them. He said, we live, we learn, and we move on. It's as simple as that. He vowed that he and Paige will defeat them, FTR, at All Out. He told FTR to bring their A game because no doubt about it, he and Paige are going to bring theirs. So FTR and Tully Blanchard walk out and they're carrying a cooler of cold beverages with them. They presented Omega in the ring. They opened the cooler and they presented him with 2% chocolate milk. You can't say no to chalk, they said to Kenny Omega. Because Kenny Omega, like I enjoy a nice cold Guinness, Kenny Omega enjoys a nice cold glass of chocolate milk. They presented him with chocolate milk. They pulled out cans of beer for themselves. Kenny said, well, you guys have known me for a few months, and you've learned that I can't turn down the chalk. He then called them dickheads. Dickhead hillbillies, I believe he said. And they censored that out. So he called them dickhead hillbillies, and AEW had it censored out. He asked if their plan was to bamboozle him when he was alone, because right now, it's a 3-on-1 situation. So if that is the case, it's time to get down to business. I'll get a few shots in there, but at least I'll go down trying. He looked over at Tully, laughed, mentioned it was a 3-on-1. He told them to make it quick, but keep the old man away from me because I can smell his diapers, his depends, from here. So a nice little jab there by Omega. And then Paige walks out. He walks out with his AEW Tag Team title. He walks out carrying a glass of Jack Daniels and Coke. But the thing about Paige when he walked out, he had red eyes. It looked like he hadn't slept for days. It looked like he was crying himself into depression. So I love the look on Hangman here tonight. He looks visibly distraught, does Adam Page. So Page is there. Dax told Page to explain to Kenny who got in his head and made him do the things that he did, turning on his best friends so they wouldn't get a rematch at All Out. Dax said he's known Page his whole career, and he's nothing more than an insecure little boy. He told him to explain to Kenny how big of a piece of shit he is. AEW and TNT clearly missed that censor, not once, but twice. They censor out the dickhead hillbillies line by Omega, but both Cash and Dax both got a shit in there, which I don't mind at all. This is my everyday fucking language. Shit, fuck, you know, I love it. So they didn't censor anything out there. Cash said Kenny already knows what a big piece of shit he is. They held out the tag team titles, did FTR, and dropped them right in front of Adam Page when he went to go take them away from FTR. Excalibur, who was back on commentary, he said he was away for a little siesta, but he wouldn't be anywhere else but AEW. They didn't mention why he was gone, or they didn't bring up anything. It was just business as usual for Excalibur. Happy that he's back. Excalibur said it was such a disrespectful action on their part. Page then picked up the titles. He was looking at FTR while picking up the titles. He had his title in his hand. He handed his title or the title, over to Kenny Omega as well because they're tag team champions. He wasn't looking at where Kenny was. He thought Kenny Omega was behind him when he picked up the titles and handed the title to Kenny Omega. Page kept his arm out, holding Kenny's tag team title. As the camera panned, Kenny was on the outside of the ring. He wasn't even in the ring, standing there backing Adam Page up. Kenny Omega was on the outside. He didn't take his tag team title. He shook his head at Page and walked away. I thought this was a fantastic segment. I love it. It's still keeping you interested. I love the fact that we don't know what's going on here. And it's one of the best storylines, obviously, that AEW has done all year. Because it centers around, is Page leaving and joining the heels? He's already been kicked out of the Elite. Is he joining the heels here? What's going to happen? There's so many different roads that AEW could take with this storyline. Is FTR manipulating Page, befriending Page, only to use him to get what they ultimately want? And that is the tag team championships. At the end of the day, you all know this is going to end with FTR and the Young Bucks. There's a reason why we're not getting this match at all out yet. Because that is the end boss here. That is the final stage of this game. FTR versus the Young Bucks for the tag team championships. And I honestly think this can go in a multitude of ways. Like I said, is FTR befriending Adam Page to manipulate him and then dump him to the side once they get what they want. Use him as a friend, weaken him, and then take the tag team titles and then dump him and not really give a shit about the friendship that they've developed. That's a possibility. Is Adam Page going to say, you know what? I'm with you guys. Fuck Kenny. Fuck the Elite. Join FTR, and we get some sort of group formed between these three and Tully. Or, in my eyes, the one outcome that I think is going to happen here. I honestly think that it's not going to be Page turning. I honestly believe, I could be wrong here, but I genuinely think that Kenny Omega is turning at All Out. I think Kenny Omega is turning. I don't know if he's going to be aligned with FTR or not. But I just think at this point, Kenny Omega is so fed up with Adam Page. He's fed up with Page and his way of thinking and his mentality. He's fed up with Page's drinking. He's fed up that Page is going out and making these mistakes. He doesn't want to be there around Page. Even though he might consider Page a friend, he doesn't want to be there and really have Page hold him back. So Kenny's going to turn heel. Kenny's going to say, you know what? Fuck this shit. Kenny's turning heel. FTR's going to win the tag team championships. Page is already kicked out of the Elite. The Bucks will then eventually realize that they made a mistake kicking Page out of the Elite. That it was really Kenny who was dealing with all these problems. Page will be back in the Elite. And then the Bucks now have their target, which is FTR and those tag team championships, and they're gonna get revenge for their friend against FTR. I think that is what is going to happen, and I know Kenny has shown shades of being a heel on being the Elite. I'm not sure if that's gonna factor into anything. I'm not really thinking that what we see on being the Elite is to be taken seriously or if it's actually going to factor into anything. I don't know. Maybe in this case it will. But I honestly and genuinely feel that Kenny Omega is going to turn heel. And we're going to see the cleaner in AEW. And I honestly think this is the right move. Break both of them away from each other. The tag team division is so just unbelievably stacked that losing Page and Omega as a tag team is not going to do anything at all for AEW's tag team division. They will be more than adequate in the tag team division. You get a singles guy in Kenny being a heel. You get a singles guy in Page doing what he's got to do. Page is a babyface. Page is a baby. It is very difficult to dislike Adam Page. No matter what they do, people are going to cheer him. No matter what they do, people are going to associate with that badass Adam Page character. They work so hard to finally get him over that hump of just feeling ordinary. What is it about? This guy's got everything you need in a top guy. He's just missing that one little piece. They finally found that one little piece, and now you want to turn him heel? I honestly think Kenny is turning heel, and that Page is just being used and manipulated here. And the Bucks will eventually realize that, and they will come to his defense and go up against FTR, inevitably, whenever that may be, for the tag team championships. But that's what I feel like is going to happen here. And I can't wait. Now, if I was to pinpoint one little negative about this, I honestly feel like with everything that's going on, FTR, Page, Omega, if you're watching it with the pro wrestling mentality in mind, who do you like, who do you favor, and who do you dislike, and who's the heel in this situation? Is FTR the heel? What have they done really that's heelish? Is Page the heel? Is Omega the heel? Is Page the babyface? Is Omega the babyface? It's very difficult to figure out who you like and who you dislike in this situation because you like all four guys right now. You're just waiting for that payoff, and I think at that point on Saturday night, I think those answers will be given to us. Those questions will be answered. So it's going to be a very interesting situation at the pay-per-view, and I'm loving it. I love that we have multiple directions here, and we don't know what's going to happen. That's the sign of a great pro wrestling storyline. Moving on here, man. Alex Marvez interviewed Chris Jericho backstage. He asked when the last time was he experienced something for the very first time or experienced something he never thought he'd experience again, like kissing a woman. He said this Saturday night will be a first, and he has already helped Kassidy become a better man. He said now he needs to put a bullet in his head and send him back to where he came from because he's not a main event star and not a championship level wrestler. He said he'll make him tap out to the walls of Jericho and then toss him into a 5,000-gallon tub of mimosa. He said he'll drown his dreams in a little bit of the bubbly and be the Le Champion. He then told Joey Janella that he's a sacrifice and give Mr. Freshly Squeezed an example of what's in store for him on Saturday night. Good luck with that. And then he blows a kiss. Jericho is great. I am very much looking forward to what this mimosa match is. It's going to be a first. It's going to be very interesting. It's going to get people talking, and that's what Jericho's in the business of doing, getting people talking. But a lot of people have asked, why has this feud gone on so long with Chris Jericho and Orange Cassidy? And I don't really understand why people are having an issue with this, because AEW only has 4 pay-per-views per year. That's why. And their mentality is, AEW's mentality is, and Chris Jericho's mentality here is, this is why he's worked with Orange Cassidy for this extended period of time, because they're building new stars. This is all falling in line with AEW's vision. Get the younger guys that you don't know much of into the spotlight and get them to a point where they could be considered main event level talent. Jericho's mentality is work with anybody and make them into a superstar. That's exactly what he's done with Orange Cassidy. And if you don't think so, you're an idiot. This has been great. It's been entertaining. We got some of the best stuff to come out of AEW all year in this feud. That debate was one of the best things all year in pro wrestling, period. Orange Cassidy has benefited so much, I can't even fucking begin to tell you how much he's benefited from this. I mean, for Christ's sake, Jericho got this guy to speak on Dynamite. 1 year ago, we're looking at Orange Cassidy and thinking, this guy's never going to get over with his shit in AEW. He don't even fucking talk. We didn't even see him wrestle. We didn't even think he was going to wrestle. Then he has a fucking unbelievable match with Pac. And now he's in this thing with Jericho. So if you don't think Orange Cassidy's on his way to being a superstar, you are completely just out of your mind, just stupid. You don't know anything about anyone. I don't even know why you're here if that's the point. This has been great. So I'm looking forward to this, and this Mimosa match is going to get people talking. Everything Jericho does turns to gold, folks. This should be no surprise to anybody. There's a reason why he's one of the greatest to have ever done it. Let him do what he needs to do. You're going to be there waiting for whatever Jericho has next, and he knows that. Jericho versus Joey Janella. This was a squash match of sort to get ready for the pay-per-view. I don't understand Joey Janella. I really don't. I said this while I was watching the show tonight. I said it to myself. I didn't say it on Twitter because there'll probably be some haters out there that just want to shit on me for every little thing I say. But I can say it here because it's my fucking show. Isn't Joey Janela supposed to be the bad boy? But he comes out wearing pigtails. He looks anything but a bad boy. I mean, what the fuck was that look tonight? I know I've seen him like that before. I guess I really hadn't noticed in this entire shit with Sonny Kiss that he's been doing. But man, oh man, I mean, he looked like anything but a bad boy tonight. It's like Joey Janela had his fucking balls cut off tonight. My God. Jericho made this guy tap. There was a great spot in this match where Janela tried to springboard into the ring, and Jericho caught him with a code breaker, man, obliterated Joey Janela with a code breaker midair. Then he applied the Lion Tamer for the win, and that was it. Jericho wore an Orange Kassidy sleeveless t-shirt. So he had an Orange Kassidy t-shirt on. Jericho attacked Janela after the match. He tore off the turnbuckle pad and rammed Janela into it. Hager then was on the outside cheering for his men. Janela ended up bleeding with this post-match attack. Jericho then punched away at the cut on Janela's head and then rubbed Janela's blood on the Orange Kassidy t-shirt. Kassidy, by the way, was asked to be at ringside. He was there. He showed up in the beginning of the match with his JanSport backpack, looking like he was getting ready for the first day of school, was Orange Kassidy. So he called out to Kassidy, who was sitting in the crowd. Kassidy then ran into the ring, and they started brawling, and he didn't give a fuck about the 2-on-1 situation. Hager quickly joined Jericho and beat him down. Sonny Kiss ran out for the save, and he got destroyed. So that was that. Kassidy gave Jericho a tornado DDT. He stood tall. He went for a Superman punch, and Hager pulled Jericho out of the ring to safety. Kassidy then went into his backpack, and he pulled out a little bit of the bubbly from his backpack. He opened it up, and he gave a thumbs down gesture and poured out the champagne in the middle of the ring. Jericho said he'd show him on Saturday what a real pro wrestler is, and Jericho tossed chairs around in anger at ringside. I really like this. Jericho and Janela, it was an afterthought here. It was just a background to what was really important here, and that was Jericho and Kassidy building towards their Mimosa match at the pay-per-view, which, in my honest opinion, it's going to be a fun match. I don't know how the match is going to come off on TV because we don't know what the fuck the rules are. We don't know what the tub of Mimosa is going to look like, where it's going to be. It's going to be a no DQ match, of course, but I think one thing is for certain, and Orange Kassidy is going to get his victory right now over Jericho, which right now we sit at 1 win apiece for both, and Kassidy is going to be the man who stands tall at Saturday's pay-per-view. We've seen a video package air on the Matt Hardy and Sami Guevara feud. This was a really, really done video package. This match is going to be a broken rules match. Now, I don't know what the fuck that is. It's probably, in Matt Hardy's terms, a no DQ match. I don't know what version of Matt Hardy we're going to get. Are we going to get broken Matt Hardy? Are we going to get version 2 Matt Hardy? We're going to get a big money Matt Hardy? I don't know what Matt Hardy we're going to get. But there was a news article in the dirt sheets this week that AEW actually canceled plans for a Matt Hardy cinematic match. And when I read this, I'm like, oh, with all the cinematic bullshit we've seen in WWE, man, if I was to see a cinematic match and really want one, it would be from the mind of Matt Hardy. And they canceled it. And we knew when Matt Hardy arrived in AEW, especially in the pandemic era of pro wrestling, when there was no crowds, I figured AEW would do something cinematic with Matt Hardy now being an AEW employee. But things changed. He wrapped up a heated and bloody feud with Sami Guevara. He's going to do the final deed on Saturday night at the pay-per-view. And there were plans for all of this to happen in a different way than what we are currently getting right now on TV. He spoke to TV Insider, did Matt Hardy. And Matt Hardy revealed the original plan AEW had for his match with Sammy G. Now, COVID-19's lockdown caused Matt Hardy and AEW to change those plans. He revealed that the initial idea from the beginning was to feud with Sami through Jericho. He still has hope that a Hardy compound match will happen in AEW in the future. He says this, and I quote, to TV Insider. In all actuality, when we first started doing all that, the original plan, I think, was to have the cinematic match with Sami. I challenged Jericho. In fact, I thought it was going to be a cinematic match with Jericho and Matt, but it was supposed to be Matt and Sami. Now, I challenged Jericho, but the idea was for it to get pushed off to Sami. Things went differently when North Carolina and other states went into lockdown. There was this 6-week period where AEW literally survived on a day or two of shooting footage, which was pretty amazing. They did an incredible job. Kudos to the crew. We had to change course in many ways. From the very beginning, I was going to end up having a feud with Sami, and Jericho was my bridge to get to that. As far as the Hardy compound fight with Sami, that may happen one day. We will see. So they will be meeting at the pay-per-view on Saturday in what should be a brutal match between Sami and Matt Hardy. So that's that. I figured that was a very interesting piece of news to give you guys in light of their match heading into Saturday's pay-per-view. So obviously Sami's out there with his cue cards. He said at All Out, not only will Hardy lose, but he will be deleted. They showed Matt Hardy watching from the side on the stage. Gone from AEW and forgotten. Long live the career of the Spanish God. He looked very proud of himself and he started dancing. And that was pretty much it. Now, they did announce the Broken Rules match. And Shivani said if Guevara wins, Matt Hardy will have to leave AEW. Now, I don't know why that was made or who agreed to that stipulation, but, I mean, all that does is make the match a little predictable because we know that Matt Hardy is not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's not going away from AEW. Maybe Sami wins it. Maybe we get a regular version of Matt Hardy, and then maybe Broken Matt Hardy comes back. Maybe this is their way of telling the story all over again with Broken Matt Hardy being reintroduced to AEW television. I don't know. But even if that is the case, which I don't think is likely, I'm going with Matt Hardy to win this match anyway. It is what it is. Taz and Brian Cage with Ricky Starks came out to the ring. Excalibur talked about the Casino Battle Royale that's happening at All Out. Taz is in the ring with two of his boys who are going to be in the Battle Royal. He took some shots at Lance Archer, did Taz. Jake Roberts interrupted from the stage. He said last week Taz interrupted him, so this week he's going to do the same to him. He said they're little squirrels who are trying to get a nut, but you aren't going to bust a nut in that ring against them. We got Jake Roberts on AEW television in 2020 talking about squirrels and nuts and busting nuts on AEW television. Jake said their best set of losers, they're the best set of losers he's ever seen. Jake and Archer then entered the ring to stare down with Taz and his boys. Now, after the Moxley-Brian Cage match, I don't know if you guys feel the same way. I feel like Taz and Brian Cage have kind of, I don't want to say fallen off, but I feel like they don't feel important right now. I feel like they just exist. They're just there. And I don't know exactly what it is or why Brian Cage, as dominating as that man could be, is right now in the middle of nothing. Maybe this is their way to give him something to do and build him back up again. But we all know Lance Archer needs that just as much as Brian Cage does. Ricky Starks needs some of that. Darby Allin needs some of that. So then Eddie Kingston comes out when Jake and Archer enter the ring. Eddie Kingston walked out with the Lucha Brothers and the Butcher and Blade. Kingston said he's tougher than Archer. Jake asked if he's been drinking. Kingston says, listen, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, and then I look at Ricky Starks, and I don't know whether he's a pro wrestler or if I should ask him out on a date or fight him. Taz said 2 of his men will fight all of them. Tully and Sean Spears walked out. Cage then got in Archer's face. Stars sucker punched Archer. A big brawl broke out. Billy Gunn jumped the barricade. Darby Allin comes out. He's the only one here who had his theme music played. And he went right after Ricky Starks. They went to an overhead cam of the brawl that included even more wrestlers coming out from the back. The Lucha Brothers were out there. Spears was out there. We had Santana and Ortiz with Jake Hager of the Inner Circle out there. The best friends jumped Santana and Ortiz in this big melee. Schiavone then sold the Battle Royal. He said this is one of the craziest things they've seen in a long, long time. They cut to commercial break. We went to split-screen commercial break, and the action in this cell for the Battle Royal continued on in the picture-in-picture commercial. I'm letting you guys know right now, for everybody that wants to say I'm an AEW shill, for everybody that wants to say I do nothing but praise AEW, this, besides Taz and Jake, because I love their back and forth, 2 of the best. Besides that, this was fucking terrible. And I mean that in every sense of the word. This was fucking terrible. First of all, I fucking hate it when WWE does it. So I have to call AEW out on them doing it as well. The generic Battle Royal build, the generic Battle Royal hype, I fucking hate it. I really wish AEW would go and do it in a more traditional traditional way. Why do we need all these men in the ring? Battle Royal hype, all fighting each other, and then you go to commercial break, and we gotta watch this split screen, then we go to another commercial break, only for these guys to just magically disappear, and you're on to the next segment. I don't know who booked this shit. I don't know who approved of this shit, but this was fucking terrible. It's lame, it's hokey, and it's just the generic formulaic, let's sell the Battle Royal for the pay-per-view. A Battle Royal that includes all these guys because they're not in anything important for the show, so let's all put them in the same match. Bullshit. I'm done. They have to start thinking of ways to sell these types of matches better. Go and do a more traditional way to build these guys up. Why not give these guys 30 fucking seconds and explain to everybody why they are going to win the Battle Royal? It's for the fucking shot at the World Championship. Explain to me why you sell yourself on why you're going to win the Battle Royal. Or who you're targeting in the Battle Royal. Who you want to take out in the battle. Whatever. 30 seconds. Sell me. Instead of doing the bullshit that we seen tonight where they try to sell everybody at the same time and it looks fucking awful. That's what I want them to do from this point on. WWE does the same thing for the Royal Rumble. Oh my God, everybody's in the ring. The locker rooms clear out from the back and everybody's in the ring. It is so fucking garbage. I can't even begin to explain it to you. Change it. We need to start doing things like this better. Thunder Rosa. She was on AEW tonight. AEW debut before she goes on to the pay-per-view and challenges Hikaru Shida for the AEW Women's Championship. Now, Thunder Rosa actually spoke about how she was able to get work with AEW while still being under NWA contract. Meltzer reported this first, that Tony Khan reached out to Billy Corgan, and an agreement was made between Corgan of the NWA and Tony Khan. Thus, the reason Rosa was mentioned as the NWA champion, that's why we seen that mentioned, and the belt was used on television. So, they made an agreement. Whatever the agreement was, I'm glad there was an agreement. And we got the NWA and AEW working together. Now, Sean Ross Sapp on Fightful mentioned some news and notes from the interview with Rosa he conducted with her I don't know when this happened, but it must have happened as of late, recently. So Rosa spoke to Sean Ross Sapp and confirmed the report about how the deal to bring her into All Elite Wrestling was made between NWA and AEW directly, and she did not contact the promotion first. So she did not contact AEW first. Rosa said she wants to be respectful to the NWA while working for them, and she wasn't expecting it to go down, but doesn't consider anything a surprise anymore. She added that she was brought to the tapings to film everything that was planned for her and was happy with how everything worked out. Rosa doesn't think she has anything to lose by taking this match. Absolutely not. In fact, it's only going to enhance her brand, which is exactly what needs to be done because she's too good to just sit at home and wait for NWA to make it back into taping their shows. This match is going to be great. I think at the end of the day, if there's a working relationship between the NWA and AEW, that's better for everybody. It's great for NWA, and it's great for AEW, because there are a few talents over there that I'm sure AEW would love to look at and have on their show on a regular basis, Thunder Rosa being one of those individuals. Now, Thunder Rosa made her AEW debut tonight against Serena Deeb, a former WWE superstar. If you guys remember, she was in the Mae Young Classic. I don't remember if it was the first one or the second one. I think it was the second one. And that was the big comeback story, I believe, for Serena Deeb. She has 15 years experience. She knows what she's doing. In fact, she was with Gallows and Punk. And she was with Punk with a shaved head, if you guys remember, all those years ago with the Straight Edge Society. So that was Serena Deeb. Former WWE superstar, trainer, 15-year veteran in this match against Thunder Rosa. Both women making their AEW debut. Now, yes, I know Nick Aldis would be unbelievable from NWA in AEW, but I do think that we will eventually see that. I really do. There's a working relationship, like I said, it's going to be good for everybody involved, and I hope that's the case, really. I really do. But, man, oh man, I love this match tonight. I really, really did. You know, I've been saying, and Jesse and I said it over the last couple of weeks as well with Thunder Rosa and Sheeta happening at the pay-per-view. It's not even about the championships. It really isn't about the championships. It's about building a division right now that is in serious need of help. And this match is going to be the foundation in which all AEW women's matches from this point on, starting Saturday night, after this match is over with, this is going to be and should be the foundation in which all women's matches in AEW live up to and need to be presented. Simple. It's not about the NWA title. It's not about Sheeta's AEW title. It's about women's wrestling finally taking center stage and being what we all know it should be in AEW. How everything else is so wrestling orientated in AEW, and they have such a shit direction as far as women's wrestling goes. Thunder Rosa was great in this match with Deeb. I won't be surprised if AEW looks at Serena Deeb and gives her a fucking contract. 15-year veteran, she moved great in the ring tonight. This match, one minor criticism about this match. In 10 minutes, I felt like it went a little bit too long. I felt like with Thunder Rosa getting a shot at the at the AEW champion, being the NWA champion, I feel like she should have handled Serena Deeb a little less than 10 minutes. That's just my honest opinion, especially if you're going to present her in a major spotlighted match on Saturday's pay-per-view. I don't want to take anything away from Serena Deeb, but this was all about Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa being the NWA champion, it shouldn't have taken 10 minutes to beat Serena Deeb if they are building her up for Shida. That's my only minor criticism, but it's not really enough for me to harp on it like I would harp on any other topics. This was a great match. This was probably one of the best women's matches that we've seen on Dynamite since Dynamite has aired on TNT. They both look fantastic. And like I said, I would not be surprised if AEW gives Serena Deeb another look. She looked great. She fit right in. Both styles meshed. Everything was just, this was a well-wrestled women's match. And even Jim Ross had to stop himself on commentary tonight. I don't know if you guys picked up on it. He was like, this is the way women's wrestling, and then he stopped himself. Pretty much insinuating that everything he's seen before this match was pretty much dog shit. And pretty much their women's division is trash. But that's the way women's wrestling on this show needs to be. He stopped himself. He said, I'm going to get myself in trouble if I don't shut my fucking mouth. I thought this was great. Thunder Rosa looked great. Deeb looked great. Only minor criticism is that it could have went a little less in time, being that Rosa's getting that title match on Saturday night. Rosa's badass. She's got a great look. For 6 years, she looks great. Deeb's got 15. Rosa's got 6. She looked great. She got that badass attitude. She knows what she's doing. She doesn't miss a step. You know, you look at some 6-year veterans in WWE, they don't even know how to fucking throw a punch correctly. They don't even know how to lock up correctly. How long has Dana Brooke been on the main roster? And she can't do 1/100th of what Thunder Rosa does. That's the sign of a terrible pro wrestler. 10 minutes, Rosa wins, a running high knee and a Thunder driver. And that is what led to the victory here for Thunder Rosa on Dynamite. Deeb looked great. She went after the left arm and the left knee. They traded holds. It broke down into a striking battle, left and right. Both women were trading shots. They went back and forth with some strikes. Rosa hit the running leg drop, then the drop kick in the corner. Rosa used a neck vice. Deeb slid out, used the octopus hold. Deeb went for a pile driver. Rosa escaped, hit a Death Valley driver. Again, traded cradles back and forth. Again with the one-legged leg drop. Thunder driver, and that was it for Thunder Rosa. Excellent stuff by both women tonight. We had a pre-taped interview with Jon Moxley. He said MJF has climbed to the top of the rankings, and he said he's going to get his shot. So don't sweat the process. He said when the bell rings on Saturday night, all the distractions with the campaigning, the lawyers will go away, and it's just them. Are you ready and willing to kill or be killed? Because the MJF on Saturday night has to be in the meanest, nastiest attitude that MJF has ever been. He said 2020 has been a bad enough year, so they don't need MJF running around on top of everything else. He said, suffer or look for a way out. What are you going to do? He said MJF thinks he's hot stuff, but everything he's done so far has been the easy part. So that is what Moxley said about MJF. As always, a very intense, very cutthroat, direct promo from Jon Moxley. Always a great promo is Jon Moxley. Shivani interviewed Big Swole at ringside. She said Saturday at the buy-in against Britt Baker. Britt Baker's making a return to the ring. Jesse, I know you'll be watching with eyes wide open. Britt Baker will have no place to hide because she's showing up at her job. She said they'll be fighting tooth and nail. So then a woman, I'm supposing this is Reby or Rebby or Reba or whatever the fuck her name is. She showed up in a mask and delivered a pizza to Shivani. So he looks at this woman and says, I didn't order a fucking pizza. Baker then came out of nowhere and attacked Big Swole from behind with her crutch. She shoved Big Swole's face in the pizza. Jim Ross screamed out, holy pepperoni. I love me some good pepperoni on a nice pizza slice, man. Too greasy, but I enjoy me a nice pepperoni slice. I'm more of a sausage and mushrooms type of guy. Britt Baker applied her lockjaw on Swole. And then Excalibur hyped this match will be a tooth and nail match on the pre-show. I don't know what the fuck that means. So then Britt Baker rubbed the pizza in Swole's face. And Ross then said, hey, at least there's no pineapples on that pizza. And that's it. Jesse's giving me the fucking fuck you middle finger in the chat. Bro, listen. Your role model is going to be back in winning ways on Saturday night. Deal with it. Deal with it. Mark Sterling made his ring entrance. He was being thrown out of the tunnel by Wardlow because he didn't want to wrestle. So Wardlow said, fuck you, bro. Get in the ring and fix this mistake. So he wore this really just over-the-top, loud, red and blue wrestling suit. He looked like he was competing on fucking American Gladiators, was Mark Sterling. Wardlow directed him to the ring. Moxley made his way through the entrance of Daly's place. This was nothing but comedy. Really nothing but cheesy comedy spots. Nothing really over the top. You know, it's not a wrestling classic here. So Moxley, in this thing, offered Sterling some free shots. He's like, listen, you know, you can get some free shots on me. Let's do this thing. So Sterling poked Moxley in the eye. He was celebrating like he won the fucking world title. Moxley beat Sterling around ringside, took off his shoe, started beating Sterling with his shoe, threw him into the ringside area, over the barricade, threw a barricade on top of him, threw steel chairs on top of him. Moxley then returned the favor and poked Sterling in the eye, hit the paradigm shift for the win, being that the paradigm shift won't be a move he uses on Saturday night. He got his paradigm shift in here on Dynamite. So after the match was over, which was obviously predictable that Moxley was going to do away with this clown, Wardlow attacked Moxley afterwards. MJF walked out to the stage with his walker and a neck brace. He tossed the walker to the side. He ripped off the neck brace. MJF means business. He took off his suit jacket. He unbuttoned his dress shirt. He rolled up his sleeves. And he went to work. He mounted Moxley, punched away at him. He then got up. MJF asked Wardlow to dip into his pocket. He put his finger out and Wardlow put on the Dynamite diamond ring. Wardlow held Moxley and MJF punched Moxley in the face with his Dynamite diamond ring. MJF was yelling, screaming out, "This is what you're going to get on Saturday." Ross said Moxley is going to show up pissed. No shit. MJF bit Moxley's head. At this point, I was a little disgusted. Moxley was bleeding because of the diamond ring shot. And then MJF goes and bites the fucking cut to add insult to injury on Jon Moxley. Moxley's busted open everywhere, blood everywhere. Bleeding from his forehead. There's blood on MJF's shirt. There's blood on MJF's face. Shivani says he's never seen MJF like this. He would know. Moxley looked up and asked if MJF is fucking nuts. They didn't really bleep that out. Ross said that this could be the beginning of the 25 years that MJF was talking about for him to lead this company. Ross then told everybody at home they would love to see them on Saturday night for All Out, to see this war go down with MJF and Jon Moxley. Now, the lawyer shit was comedic garbage that we would normally expect on Monday Night Raw. So there wasn't anything of note there. It's typical cheesy pro wrestling comedic garbage. But man, oh man, the beatdown, the post-match attack by MJF on Jon Moxley was so great. So great. The one thing that worries me, though, is if you think pro wrestling, and if you're thinking in the mentality of pro wrestling, and you see that closing segment, you're probably thinking to yourself, man, MJF is going to get fucked up on Saturday night. He's going to lose. And there are some people in the community that think MJF is going to suffer his first loss on Saturday night. I don't think so. I honestly think that MJF is just being protected by AEW for a reason. And I don't think that they are willing to give up his undefeated streak that easily. On the other hand, you look at Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley won the title in February at Revolution. He's only held the title for about 170 days. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Does AEW keep the championship on Jon Moxley and have him carry it into next year? Or do they take the championship off of him to ultimately build him back up to get it a second time? If they take it off of him, I feel like people are going to complain, man, Jon Moxley got the shaft. You know, he got cheated. It wasn't his fault. He didn't really do anything with the championship because of what we were going through with coronavirus. So I don't know, man. You could swing either way on this, really. But I honestly think at the end of the day, I think MJF's undefeated streak is going to carry him to his first AEW championship. It's not too soon for MJF. It's not. You know, he's been doing this for a very long time. And they've built him up for this reason, for this moment. And now that you're here, you almost have to give him the rub and give him the championship. I feel like if MJF loses, it's going to hurt him more than if Moxley loses. Jon Moxley right now is absolutely bulletproof. They could do anything they want to Jon Moxley, and he's at a point right now where nobody's going to bat an eye. But if MJF loses, I feel like it's going to be more harmful to him if he loses. What's next for MJF? Not much. I don't know. If MJF loses this, what's next? There's more to build when there's a heel as a champion. I honestly think Jon Moxley chasing the championship would be fantastic. You know, getting revenge on MJF, or maybe at that point they start setting up for Jon Moxley's feud going into next year. If we do really get a rematch out of this, because I don't see MJF winning this championship clean. He's going to cheat to win. He's going to cheat to win. He's going to win this title on Saturday night by bullshitting his way to a championship victory. And I feel like if he doesn't get the job done, then AEW is making a really, really big mistake. But that closing segment tonight with MJF standing over Moxley, bleeding profusely, holding up the AEW championship, exclaiming that this is the future, this is the next 25 years, I'm leading this company for the next 25 years. What a fucking visual. What a visual. The blood of Jon Moxley was on MJF's hands. I thought that was fantastic. But like I said, you got to be mindful of it, because this is the shit I think about. Watching something like that close the show, you got to wonder, normally when you see the heels get that much over on a babyface on the go-home show, that they're going to get what they fucking rightfully deserve on Saturday night. I hope that's not the case going into All Out on Saturday. And I really do hope that MJF wins that World Championship. I think a new age of AEW would be great with MJF leading this show on Wednesday nights. Guys, that was your AEW review. It was a decent go-home show. It wasn't perfect by any means. It was something that I felt lacked in some areas. Thunder Rosa and Serena Deeb was great. You got a great promo by Jericho and Moxley. Their build with Moxley and Orange Cassidy was great. Jericho and Orange Cassidy, rather, was great. Moxley cut a great promo. That stuff with MJF at the end of the show was great. The stuff with Paige and Omega was great. Really good show, but I just felt like it was kind of off compared to previous go-home shows that we've seen from AEW leading into other pay-per-views. So it was good. It got the job done. Regardless, I'm excited for Saturday night and All Out. So, guys, that is the end of the review. If you guys want to hang out, we're going to be going over some super chats here. Please hit that thumbs up, man. We're at 642 likes. I'd love to get this as close to 1,000 as possible live right here on YouTube for Off the Script. So hit that thumbs up, guys. Super chats are open. Send them on in. Let's hang out. Make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at JD from NY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. We are here every single night, every single show you watch in pro wrestling, on Monday, on Wednesday, and on Friday. And on Tuesday with this Super Tuesday shit. And all pay-per-views alike, we are here covering all of it for you right here on Off the Script. So make sure you guys tune in to the review on Saturday night and hit that subscribe button for the best in the IWC right here with OTS. Let's get some music going, man. We got some super chats to go over. We got Chris Hassel with a $99. No, we got $199 super chat. But he's got a $9.99 super chat. He says nothing. He just wants to show his support. Thank you so much, man. Chris Churnes, 1999 super chat. He also doesn't send a message. But thank you so much, brother. Daniel Easterday, what happened, bro? You weren't first. $2 super chat. How was your off day? AEW Dynamite, hashtag off the script, man. My off day was exciting. It was much needed. I had some cold beverages. I had a nice Italian dinner. Some mini golf. And I found my Southern Tier Pumpkin Nitro at one of my local warehouses. The pumpkin shit is now in stock for the season. Earlier than usual, which I will not complain about at all. Starbucks has their fucking entire pumpkin menu already. They had it in August. That makes me happy. Dunkin' has all their pumpkin shit out already. They had it out in August. It makes me happy. Popo Jr., $2 super chat. Wow, AEW in the top 100 TV guide list. WWE's not. Top 100 TV guide list for what? Best shows on TV? Vince, man. Vince's skin is crawling right now. I love it. I love it. Man, Hoop Media is going to work in the chat. Timing people out, benching people. What's going on here, man? We're just hanging out. Why is there all this hostility on Wednesday nights, man? This ain't Raw. Tan May with a $2.99 Australian. You're my favorite wrestling YouTube. Thank you, Tan May. Jacob Donnelly, $10 super chat. I'd really like MJF versus Moxley because whoever loses won't come out looking bad. I don't think any of their momentum will be squashed. Still calling MJF to win. I think so too, bro. I'm going with MJF to win. Hope you well, man. Chris Hassel. Oh, there you are, bro. Now you're leaving a message. Chris Hassel left a $9.99 super chat. Now he leaves another $4.99 super chat. He says, JD, I know this isn't Dynamite related, but Clash of Champions should be called Lack of Champions or Lack of Chumps. There's a lot lacking in WWE, bro. It's called logic and creative. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Daniel Bravo with the $99.99 super chat again. Here is for the number one podcaster in the wrestling community. Daniel, you're a fucking beast, bro. Thank you so much, brother. JP5150, $5 super chat. Looking forward to JD's review. OTS Live, a.k.a. the Source of Truth. Drink up tonight, bro. Hopefully you got something chilled and ready to go for Saturday night. Thomas Brown becomes a new member. Thank you, Thomas. You're now welcome into the Off the Script Discord. I'll send that to you after the show is over, man. Look out for that notification on YouTube. He also gives a $5 super chat. Love your work, bro. Thank you so much, Thomas. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for becoming a Team JD VIP. Mr. Cake. Don't NXT and AEW share fans? Yeah, they do. Not many, but they do. The Phenom. $10 Canadian. Hey, JD, how are you? Do you think they're going Adam Page or Omega heel turn on Saturday? Well, I kind of answered that in the review, brother. I think Kenny Omega's turning heel on Saturday. Also, keep up the great work and glad to have you stream on my birthday. Happy birthday, Phenom. I really appreciate you, bro. What is going on in the chat? Thanks, guys, for the kudos. JD just ignores and hates on me. Well, listen, Hoop Media, I'm going to have to dump you, bro. All right? What are you talking about? I hate on you and ignore you. Every fucking stream, I'm saying you do a fantastic job. Don't let me give Jesse double the workload. Maybe he'll enjoy that. Maybe he'll buy 3 Britt Baker meet and greets. I don't know. I reminded you about your t-shirt contest. Oh! What would I do without you, Hoop Media? Listen, Jesse, don't egg them on, please. Oh. Anyway, guys, I'm sure I'll mention this throughout the week, and I'll talk about it on the podcast this weekend. I'm completely restructuring my Patreon. Yeah, my Patreon is simply there. It exists if you guys want to show some extra support, man. Because YouTube, YouTube is very fishy. They're very funny about things, demonetization, all this shit. So Patreon is there, to kind of show support. You guys can give. It's never an obligation. It's always there. I don't really have any perks on Patreon, and I want to start setting up perks. And I'm thinking for the holiday season, I'm going to make off-the-script baseball hats and an exclusive Are We Live t-shirt for all people who sign up annually to the Patreon page. Obviously, it's in the beginning stages. I'm talking to the marketing team that I have in place for this, and we will hopefully roll that out by the holiday season. Give the gift of off the script this holiday season. And I want to do that. And I mentioned on Twitter last night that if there are any graphics designers listening to me, if you know anybody that is a graphics designer, I know Sal Rex is going to do something, and, he's always on top of this shit for me. And I know Mikey, who does my layouts for the pay-per-views, he's probably going to be on top of this. He did the JD is NEGAN shirt that you guys can get on Bonfire. But I want to I might actually have 2 versions. I might use a Sal Rex version, and I might use your version as well. We might have 2 different exclusive shirts for you guys. But if you can design me a t-shirt with the Are You Live catchphrase on it, with the off-the-script logo. This off-the-script logo on the screen that I'm showing you right now. If you guys can put this and incorporate that into the shirt, I would love to see what you could do. And if you guys are chosen, the best design will be chosen. I will give you a free annual subscription to the Patreon. So that means you get a baseball cap and a t-shirt. And you'll get all access to the Discord and whatever else funny shit I do on the Patreon. So if you guys can do that, I would love to see what you got. Wow me, because I know I'm not being wowed on Monday and Friday night. So that's that. So if you guys can do that for me, man, let's get it going. Moving on with the rest of the super chats, man. Mr. Cake, $2 super chat. Nigel should be back soon. Also, I got a Moro shirt. Good on you, bro. Support Moro. Nigel will be back with NXT UK as they are getting ready to come back. So I'm not surprised by that whatsoever. Daniel Bravo. Look at this fucking guy, man. Another $20. I'm just paying my respect. I've been a fan of the podcast for 4 years. I think you're a beast. Thank you so much, man. Love you. Appreciate you. Laura Conway, $2.99. You're awesome. Love OTS and love you. Thank you, Laura. Hope you and the husband are well on this Wednesday night. Quintendo with a $4.99. This was a pretty solid go-home show for AEW. Thunder Rosa is absolutely fantastic. I'm looking forward to Shida versus Rosa, plus MJF is amazing. Agree with you on all points, my friend. Thank you. CC Steven, $5 super chat. Hi, JD. Did you read Renee Young's Sports Illustrated interview? WWE wouldn't allow her to even tweet about Moxley and didn't care she had COVID. Thank you for all that you do. Yes, I did read it. And I'll be talking about it on Off the Script this weekend, man. WWE fucking blows. Fuck them. They didn't even ask Renee Young how she felt. They immediately said, why would you go and tweet out that you had COVID? It's bad look for us. It's a bad look. It's bad PR for us. Meanwhile, they didn't even ask her about how she felt. Fuck them, man. Indigo, $2 super chat. AGD, much respect. R.I.P. NXT. It's dead now. With Morrow being gone, that seals the deal for me. Jacob Donnelly, another $5 super chat. Do you think when Cody comes back, he gets himself involved in the Kenny and Hangman story? You know, I was actually thinking that, man. I was actually thinking that. Maybe Cody is the one pulling the strings. I don't know. He's out doing his TV gig with Stephen Amell, so I don't really know. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I did have that be a thought tonight when I was watching that segment. He could be a guy to say, what the fuck is going on with the Elite? I thought about it. I see Cody leading a 4-horseman stable for sure. FTR is going to be in that stable, no question. $5 super chat by Mr. Cake. He also goes on and does two $5 and a $2 super chat. Apparently, Broken Rules is a last man standing, false count anywhere match. Thank you for clarifying. I didn't really understand what the rules were, but thank you. Some say the Battle Royal is still going on. I hope to God not. And he says, kayfabe reason Jesse is out tonight. He's mad Britt Baker is on the pre-show. Britt Baker is going to be a force to be reckoned with in AEW, and Jesse, I was told firsthand, is already getting ready for it. He's got his popcorn in the oven already. He's got his cold beverages on ice, and he can't wait. He can't wait. He invited his whole family over to watch this momentous occasion on Saturday night. KSI versus Batista versus Jake Paul. That's quite the name you got there, bro. An Australian $2.18 super chat. I don't know what that equates to, but thank you. Unsubbed, you're unreliable now. Review NXT Kaba. You know what's unreliable? You know what's unreliable? First of all, get the fuck out of my chat. You know what's unreliable? Your fucking mother's blowjobs are unreliable, bro. They're not up to my standard. And her red sauce and the fucking lasagna I asked for. It's fucking terrible. We're fucking Italian. I want seasoning in my fucking sauce. Give me some fucking ragu type shit. And while you're at it, have her go bake me a fucking pie. I gave her the entire list of pies on Monday night. I'm sure she can choose one wisely. Fucking bitch. Jack Attard. $2 Australian. Love you, bro. Hope all is well. Appreciate you heaps. Jack, I appreciate you heaps as well, bro. Rashida with a $10 super chat. JD, you are a rock star. You make this girl's day. Awesome. Happy to make your day, Rashida. Edgar Estrada with a $20 bomb. Hey, JD, smash that. Thumbs up, goons. Yeah, there's only 674 likes here, people. What's going on? Get me to at least 800. At least 800. Come on. Bro, you're doing one hell of a job, especially reviewing all the WWE trash shows. You're the real messiah. Can't wait till Saturday for All Out. AEW is giving me a new love for wrestling. Much love, JD. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Israel, $2 super chat. Rest in peace to Tom Seaver. So you think MJF got to win? Yeah, I do think MJF has got to win. And rest in peace, Tom Seaver. And also, rest in peace to Jesse. Listen, bro, I didn't fall for nothing, man. I didn't fall for nothing, man. I love making goons just look stupid, bro. I'm here to entertain. Also, rest in peace to Casey Michael of Squared Circle Sirens. He passed away today. He was only 26 years old, man. He didn't really care much about me, but I read it today, man. It's just so terrible. 26 years old. I believe he had surgery. He was actually somebody that documented his surgery and recovery process on Instagram. I don't know exactly what he passed from, but it's just a terrible story, man. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family and everybody that was impacted by him and what he did in the community, man. So thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that knew him, his friends and family, everybody that came in contact with him, and just a sad situation there, man. Jericho, 8131, $5 super chat. Where do you rank Hikaru Shida as the best women's wrestler today? She gets my top 5. I wish AEW had more legitimate women on the roster she could wrestle with. She'll be in my top 10. I don't know exactly where, but she would be in my top 10 for sure. You know, Io Shirai, Sasha Banks, Toni Storm, Bayley, they'd all be up there, you know. Asuka, obviously. She's definitely in my top 10. Even though nobody likes her or they might have an issue with her, Tessa Blanchard's still one of the best in the world. Shadow Maniac, a $5 super chat. Hey, JD, how do you rank 2020 in terms of wrestling content compared to recent years, man? Listen. Wrestling this year has not been all that great, and the fans are absolutely needed. But I'm not even looking at it in terms of that. I'm looking at it as far as what I do here for you guys. We continue to grow. We've added the live streams to the overall channel growth. And you guys love hanging out live here. I love being live for you guys. I was always afraid to do live shit. And now here I am, and it's blowing the channel up. August was literally the best month of the entire time I've ever been on YouTube. That's all thanks to you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, man. Dried chicken without flavor, $2 super chat. Kenny Omega should turn heel. I think so too. The Greatest Fan 18, $2 UK. What is the song called that you use for the outro? It is called The Return by Pilot, which is playing right now. And speaking of the outro, guys, I'm getting out of here. I got to get my rest for tomorrow. The gyms are back opened by me, so I'll be in the gym tomorrow. If you guys want to follow me on social media, please do that. At JD from NY206. It's on Twitter and Instagram, man. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Go and get your t-shirts and your masks. Mouthmasker.com/OTS. Go and get your t-shirts. Bonfire.com. audibletrial.com/offthetrip. Get your 30 days free and one free audiobook. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on that bell. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. Thank you guys so much for being here, man. I love you. I appreciate you. And I'll be back this week with more AEW for All Out. And I'll be back with episode 342 of Off the Script. Thank you guys so very much, man. Again, hit that thumbs up for me, and I'll see you later.